selling with authenticity.
It's building that relationship.
Think about the value.
Because you want to make that impact.
It can make you happy.
Elevate others around
Welcome
us.
to the Selling from the Heart podcast, your home for authentic, effective, and socially integrated sales strategies to help you master the art of selling. Join your co-hosts Larry Levine and Daryl Amy, along with some of the world's best sales thought leaders and practitioners, as we explore ways to help you grow your sales.
Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host Daryl Amy here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Fall, Daryl. Fall is in the air, but by you the leaves might be turning. But in here in Southern California, the leaves don't turn because it's rare that we have fall where the leaves turn colors. So
hey, it's fall, and you know that what that means. We're just weeks, not even 2 weeks away from the Breakthrough Sales Leaders Retreat. We've been talking about this all summer long, and it's finally here. I'm so excited, and I'm just going to give a sneak preview. We've got Holly Dowling in the studio today.
We do?
And it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited about our conversation today. Just get ready to be inspired. Hey, if you're new to the Selling from the Heart podcast, welcome. You've joined a growing community of sales professionals that are dedicated to being genuine, being authentic, adding real value. We call it Selling from the Heart. And as much as Selling from the Heart is this movement, Larry, we're leading from the heart. And this is a huge part of this as we think about leadership right now in the Breakthrough Sales Leader Retreat coming in just a couple of weeks. So exciting.
No, I'm super excited. It's really nice to see vision come to reality. But here's what I really want everyone to focus in on because this is all for sales leaders. I mean, this is chief sales officers, vice president of sales, sales leaders. Listen, if you can unpack what it means to lead from the heart, watch what happens as your sales team start selling from the heart. But more importantly, how they break through to new sales heights in 2023.
Absolutely. So if you're a sales leader or you know one, we got a couple tickets left. This is a small, intimate event. Dave Sanderson's going to be there. Holly Dowling's going to be there. Larry, myself, our head coach, Jackie Joy, and we got a late ad with Dan Dominguez all the way from the Y Institute. Let me just tell you, it's going to be a power-packed day on October 20th. You want to join us, breakthroughsalesretreat.com. Get your ticket. I can't think of a better way to launch into an incredible 2023. So exciting. And when you think about excitement, you think about Holly Dowling. Holly Dowling is in the house. Holly, welcome to the Selling from the Heart Studios. It's great to have you here.
I just love your intro. Can I just record this and keep it forever?
Absolutely. Play it all the time.
Oh, this is so cool. First of all, we can't wait to meet you. But you know what I just got to give a special shout out to Dave Sanderson because he's always shared, proximity is power. Proximity is power. And he's introduced us to you. We can't wait to see you. I mean, we're in for a treat, but we're also in for a treat on this podcast as we really unpack some more of Holly Dowling. This is good stuff.
Oh, don't stop. Don't. I mean, stop. I mean, come on. I mean, really.
All right, Holly, it's time to go on the hot seat, though, because you know the question that every guest on the Selling for the Heart podcast answers, and that is, what does it mean to you, Holly, to sell from the heart?
And I just love that question because, as you both know already, that is my biggest passion, is everything we do, is it coming from the heart? Because if it's not, then it's inauthentic. And to me, selling from the heart is about letting go of all the stuff we've layered around us and start living true to who you are, because that creates compassion, empathy, authenticity, transparency. And people, let's face it, people love to do business with people they trust and they love. So to me, selling from the heart is not about creating a whole bunch of structure. It's about letting go of the structure, pulling back the layers of the onion, and truly starting to live and lead from the heart. It's all about that. It's the soul.
This is so good. And I've always said this, and I really we got to unpack this because I'm a firm believer what you just said. This occurs in our personal lives. This is how you really get to know somebody personally, right? If you're in marriage or you have a significant other, you're going to bring what Holly just said to the forefront. So Holly, here's what I'd like to just throw out there as we start our time together is, what's the struggle, just through your lens for a moment, what's the struggle with people bringing this to their professional lives? Because I know they have it because they're bringing it to their personal lives, but there's some boundary, I believe, that occurs that prevents someone from going, you know what? I can apply this to my professional life. What do you think that is? I'm just curious.
Oh, that's a really power-packed thought process right there. And it's really profound, Larry. And I actually love it because I'm going to just shoot from the hip right now. But I think it comes from, with no bad intention, it comes from years and years of us spending most of our life as children and then going into the world trying to create a life of fitting into what everyone else expects of us versus finding it within our soul and our heart, who we are, who we were put here to be, and then letting it shine. So I think that what you just said, we do that in our personal life all the time, right? We try to be somebody we're really not to fit into a relationship that if that's not where God wanted us to be, right? I mean, I could go on and on about this, but I think it's a very simple, but it's a very difficult place for many people to be. It's about being free to be who you were created to be. And I'm going to say it because I trademarked it. So just go with me right now. And I have said this on a stage with thousands of people in a ballroom, by the way. I think it's time to give ourselves permission to stop shoulding on ourselves. And that's SHOULD.
That's right.
On others, right? I mean, that's what this is all about. It's simple. It's common sense. It's just not common practice. And that's why we're doing this retreat. And that's what I love about you and what you're both doing. And Dave, is it's about, let's help you pull back the layers of the onion and really bring simplicity to this and start from the heart. I mean, I'm just so excited because I love it.
It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. And I'm sitting here reflecting on this and just going back, rewinding my journey, going back through business school, right? Went through business. I wanted to be Alex P. Keaton, right? That was my goal. And then I thought I can get a job dressing like him in sales. And you go into sales and all of a sudden you realize, there's this way I got to be. There's this way I got to act. There's this way I've got to dress. Here's that. They told me exactly what to say. And I think with good intentions, but then unintentionally over the years in that type of environment, you start to lose yourself and you become this corporate persona, this empty suit, as Larry's talking about, this corporate robot, to where sales is one of those professions where it's really easy to get lost in all of it, yet it's really critical to stay true. And I think as people are waking up and discovering their authentic self, this is where we're starting to see a lot of incredible things happen in the sales profession, in this movement, in this community of authenticity in the sales profession.
Oh, I love it. And by the way, can I just say something that I never imagined I would tell you both this right now, but it goes right in line with what you're saying. And I'm going to tell it to the world and they can hear it right now. But that is going back years ago. And you'll know more of my story when we're together here in a couple of weeks, October 20th, by the way. And I'll share from the heart. And the reality is, as a female in the corporate arena, I was felt that it was not professional to let my natural curly hair let me be
interesting.
Me. So just recently have I been able to step out of that paradigm and let go and say, I'm free to be me. And this is who I was put here to be. So just being able to come on a show, and I've been starting to do this, but I haven't really announced it. So I just want you both to know it's a big deal right now. And I am going for it.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Bring
it on.
This is such a great conversation because we've used the word authentic, we've used the word inauthentic, and so forth. And here's what's interesting. Let's just stop and think about this, because this plays out. Who gets more credit out there? Who gets more accolades? Those people who are authentic, or those who are inauthentic? And here's what I'll submit. I think it's, when you run across somebody who's an authentic, real deal, just down to earth person, they're rare today because everyone's got this facade on. and right, just hang out on social media, watch TV. You all get where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But I'll submit to all of us now, if we flip the switch on this, people are rising to the occasion saying, you know what? It's about time that I found somebody who's down to earth, who's real, who knows who they are, that's speaking from the heart, that's leading from the heart. And to me, this is what we need, especially in sales, where sales is at the bottom. And I mean, at the bottom when it comes to trust and credibility. We have to flip the switch on this.
Wow. Wow. Look at Daryl and I, we're both sitting here like this.
You're like, yes.
Because you know me, and I got
So
the
true.
goosies, Larry. I got the goosies. As you said. Because you know what you just said, and I don't want anyone to miss this. It was so profound, but those words have been big buzzwords, especially in the corporate arena, right? And especially with leaders creating an inclusive environment, right? It's authenticity versus inauthenticity. And when you said social media and all of that, if we were to pause and everyone listening right now and to literally just close our eyes for a moment and think about, without anybody giving you any ideas, who do you really respect in your life currently? And who have you had a tremendous amount of respect over the years? Who's had a great influence on you? And if you stop and think about that, it aligns to what you just said, Larry.
Yeah.
Because if you think about who we truly respect and who we're drawn to, it's the people that have been able to stand true, stand up for who they are, and not worrying about fitting in and being their authentic self, because that's who we all crave to be, right? We just need examples of that and people that we can look up to and we can respect to say, I give you permission to do this too.
I love it. I love it. You know, as we're talking, I'm just thinking to myself, like, what's the antidote to this? What's the pill that, you know, that we need to swallow to get over this inauthenticity? And you brought a concept up at the very beginning, compassion. Compassion. When I put myself, whether I'm a sales leader with a sales team or a sales professional with clients, and I put myself in that position of entering their world and having compassion towards them, it seems to me like that's a pretty darn good start in terms of showing up with your heart, as opposed to, you know, some of these facades and layers, that these empty suits that we've put on top. What does compassion mean to you? I'm curious.
Are you coming to me or Larry? Who's
Oh,
going first?
you're the guest of honor today.
You're the guest. Bring it on, Holly. By the way, hey, Holly, by the way, Daryl doesn't want to hear me talk anyway, so he just likes hearing himself talk.
Well, Larry, we'll give you a second. After Holly's brilliant answer, we'll give you a second pass at this.
Oh, I love this so much. You'll get a chance, Larry. But I mean, honestly, right now, because I love that word. And Daryl, one of the things that I will share in depth when we're together on October 20th, and I can't wait to meet all the amazing people that are coming, is that compassion is really, it's hard to be authentic with compassion if we continue to put labels on people's foreheads. Ooh. And I say this very delicately, but I'm also going to come at it as a velvet hammer. And that is the greatest gift we can give to our teams, to our colleagues, to our friends, to our family members, is to step back and stop putting labels on people. And I say this with such love, but when we put labels on people because we just happen to not agree with them politically or religiously or whatever that is, and right now there's so much division that we're putting labels on people. But at the end of the day, I say that person that you feel like is so negative, hold on, leaders, I'm going to call you out right now, because at the end of the day, you may not know what's going on in their world.
Yep.
You may never know. But just what if for one moment you were to step back and go, maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they've got an illness with a loved one. Maybe they're taking care of an elderly. You may never know their story, but if you're willing to step back, have compassion of the heart, take that label off, it can have, I'm getting the goosies, it can have a dramatic impact on the entire outcome of that relationship, moving forward, the communication, and potentially you could change a life because you might be the greatest gift they were ever given. So I love the quote by Mr. Rogers. I love to date to my favorite shows, as you will soon know. But Mr. Rogers used to carry a quote in his pocket. There isn't a person you couldn't love if you knew their story. Mm-hmm. To me, that's compassion. So Larry, top that.
Yeah,
No,
good luck,
no.
Larry.
No, but
I'm feeling a lot of compassion
Uh,
towards Larry now,
yeah.
trying to come up with something better than that.
No, there isn't. But oh Lord, sorry, folks, sorry. Right?
You're in for this.
But listen, oh my gosh, where do we go with this one?
I know.
But no, you just said something about, and I want to tap into that because, and this is just a special shout out to Joe Peachy. So Joe, if you're listening, he shared this with me a long time ago. This was years ago. He goes, Larry, he goes, you never know somebody until you know their backstory.
Yeah.
And that I mean, just because, and I'll throw my hand up. I've been guilty of comparing myself to others and so forth. And I still work on it to this day. But I remember having this conversation with Joe and he goes, stop it. He goes, you never know somebody's story until you know their backstory. Now, how does this apply? And I love what Holly said, because as sales leaders, you never know your salespeople until you know their backstory, what's going on, right? And then you brought up the word compassion. And as I was listening to what Holly was saying, this is what was rolling through my head is, how do we bring compassion to the forefront if we're not compassionate to ourselves?
Wow. Yeah.
Let's think about that one for a second.
Yeah.
And I think, whether you're a sales leader, whether you're a sales person, if we struggle with compassion for ourselves, that's just going to just carry out into the professional world. We're going to have a hard time connecting to our clients. We're going to have a hard time connecting to each other, because compassion is how we connect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Larry, I love that.
I think that what you're talking about, I'm just reflecting on this and my roles over the years as a sales leader. Being a sales leader can be a very lonely job, right? You're stuck in between upper management wanting results and a sales team. And it can be really tough. And you can get lost inside that. At least I know from my personal experience was you can get lost inside that. And I think one of the best things I see happening right now in the world in general, and one of the things I'm anticipating happening at the Breakthrough Sales Leaders Retreat is community. And so being able to have a community of peers where you can, be you and, let your guard down and have some honest conversations and enter into other people's stories. And, to me, that part is so invaluable, because it's really hard to show up with compassion when you've got so many things pulling at you and so many different demands and stress. I mean, it's a stressful time. Sales leadership and sales both have always been stressful professions. But right now, let's just be honest, it's not an unstressful time. So finding that place where you can be in community with other people, I think it's almost like not an option right now if you want to have any level of compassion in your life.
I love that you brought up that word community, because I think we could all start thinking of even our teams. It's a community. And even though a lot of the sales leaders are leading teams virtually. I mean, that's where it's gone and that's where it is. And so how are you building a community of trust? And back to what you said, Larry, and you, Daryl, like the backstory, it's when leaders are willing to pull back the layers of the onion and be able to share what's going on in their life. They build trust with their team members to be able to do the same. And that, to me, is the unlock to compassion. It's to the backstory, right? It's to understanding who we are. And have you ever been in an event, which is going to happen when we're all together, where we really have those conversations and we can start having, it's a very safe place, a safe environment to talk about things that we don't really ever talk about. The minute you do, and I watch this all the time in big events or small ones, and there's so much joy in watching people go, oh, you've been there too? You've been through that?
Yeah.
I'm going through that right now. And all of a sudden you see people building these friendships and bonds across a room or across a table. And they're like, that's what you feel so alone sometime. And you said it, Daryl, you feel so alone, especially as a leader and a sales leader. And yet I think one of the greatest gifts too, leading from the heart and selling from the heart, is to me, there's so many different levels of sales. And I don't mean hierarchy. I mean this way, because Some people, I have a son that he likes to go for the gold. He's your cold caller.
Yeah.
He wants to get that deal closed. I never imagined that would come out of my DNA, right? I mean, the stuff he's done, it's blown my mind. But you want to keep the relationship? No, he gets people around him that they want to. That's another type of sales.
Yeah.
Build that relationship, massage it, keep it going, right? So, and I think that that's the other gift, is knowing that not every salesperson is exactly the same. What triggers you and what triggers me? If the three of us were on a team and we had the right conversations that we're going to learn what those are when we're together, they're so simple, but they catapult, productivity, because people are going to be like, I had no idea that you hate going for that, but you love doing this. I hate doing that. It's amazing what happens when we start having the right conversations, right? And you go,
I like all these C words, right? And so Daryl's a big alliteration freak, so it's kind of worn off on me. So we're talking about compassion. We're talking about conversations. We're talking about community. All this does is lead to connection.
Yeah.
And so think about this, right? In a world that is so easy to connect, but it's truly difficult to connect. If y'all get where I'm going with this.
Yep.
So if you're a sales leader and you're listening in this, and you're a salesperson and you're listening in on this, think about how do these all these C words we've used: compassion, conversation, community, connection. How are they playing out on your sales team right now? So I'm going to throw this back to you just for a second, Holly, is because you do a lot of work in the leadership space. So in speaking to leaders right now, what are a couple tips that you can just share real quick in how can somebody who's a sales leader, how can they build stronger bonds around community, connection, compassion, and conversation? What are a couple quick things they could do?
Without giving away all the goodies
Yeah.
we're gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is I can't wait. Next week's gonna be a deep dive. I'm coming with a notepad, and I'm so excited for your session. It's in 10 days. I'm counting down.
Everybody there is going to learn and grow from each other.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
I love that, Larry. And I will say it's such simple things, but some of the things that for anybody listening right now, if there's one thing, and having worked with leaders for almost 20 years all over the world, and we want to know, what does my team member need from me? They always say, everybody's got to be engaged. What does engagement look like and feel like? We can do all the data and all the research. But what they really need from you, human beings need, and we're going to go in depth in this: know me, care about me, and for goodness sakes, pay attention to me. Know me, know what really drives me, know my gifts, my strengths, know how to leverage the best of me, care about me, care about knowing how to have the best conversations with me. Because let's face it, leaders, especially in sales, you're all about driving numbers, but what they need is quick conversations and quick coaching moments to know how to get the best out of you, and what are you struggling with, and where can I help you, and what's going well, and how can we do more of that, right? I'm giving you just a high level, and pay attention to me. If there was ever an industry that we need to put more time and effort into praise and recognition, it's in sales. And I will bring endless stories that I will share with you. I've been told, have you ever written a book about all these? Endless stories of being with salespeople whose leaders had no clue who they were. And I will share one from the heart that every time I tell it, after receiving a huge award for being recognized as President's Club, had no clue who I was and gave me the worst award in the world. I walked out and found myself in a bathroom in the hotel lobby crying. So I think if that's enough, I can say those are the most important things. And to add to the C's, are you ready? Because this is a big word. What this all comes to, and what everybody's coming to experience that day, is what's the unlock to collaboration? Yeah. All of this is about collaboration and how can we get the best out of each other and drive results.
I was so excited. This is going to be amazing. Look, Holly, I'm so thankful for you sharing time here today. I cannot wait to hear you unpack all of this here at the Breakthrough Sales Leaders Retreat. It's so awesome. This conversation, I feel like I can't believe the time is run out already. I feel like we could talk about this for days, and I'm sure we will at some point. Holly, you're a true Selling from the Heart friend. Hey, how can people get more Holly Dowling in their life?
They can come on October 20th.
That's right. All right. Well, there may be some people who aren't sales leaders who go, man, I want some more Holly Dowling in my life.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
How
the
can folks
best.
get a hold of you, Holly?
Well, thank you for that. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm an open book. It's hollydowling.com is the website. Holly at hollydowling.com. Reach out. And I would love to just add that is that you don't need a title to lead. Every day
Yep.
we're leading in life and how we show up to the people around us. And back to what you said, Larry, it's compassion for ourselves. And it starts there because there's nothing left of us if we can't start there to give to others. So thank you both for the gift of being with you. I thought we were going for 4 hours, so I guess I'm.
Well, no, but really quick though, before we wrap this up, Daryl, we're gonna go another 60 or 90 seconds because I'm gonna throw Holly on the spot just really quick. Is Holly just in a minute and a half? Just drop some. You dropped a bunch of pearls of wisdom, but just drop a couple more. Just give us some Hollyisms to help us close this out, and then Daryl and I will wrap up.
Oh, I just love that you asked that because these all come from where, nudge from above, right? And it's always in the moment. But my favorite of all things, it doesn't matter who we are and where we are. Just leave today remembering one thing as you go into these next few days ahead of you in the week. Give without remembering, receive without forgetting. That's my mantra.
Nice.
Beautiful.
That means the world to me. May we all live like that, right?
I love it. Holly, thank you so much. What a treat. And this has just been a blast.
I can't wait to see you both.
I know. Same here. We'll see you soon.
So cool. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun, Larry. I'm so fired up. And what an incredible discussion.
I want to run through a brick wall right now.
That's right. Please don't do that. We need you in 10 days at the Breakthrough Sales Leaders Retreat. But this is, the deeper we dive into this and the more we look at this, and this has been such a journey over the last 5 years with the Selling from the Heart podcast and all of these conversations, the more I'm convinced in the depths of my heart that this is the ball game that we're talking about right here.
Hey, repeat that. Hey, repeat that again for me, please.
This is the ball game. I know. The wild card game starts tonight. It's going to be great. We're going to be in the World Series. I'm believing it.
Stop.
But, this is the ball game when it comes to effectiveness and satisfaction, right? When it comes to results and impact in life. And all of this together is so, so powerful. And Holly's absolutely right. You don't have to have a title behind your name to be a leader. We've said it over and over again on this podcast. All sales professionals are leaders. Leadership is influence, and that's what the selling profession is. And so everything we're talking about here is so spot on. And I'm challenged, Larry, to just think back to some of the concepts that we have been talking about here today. The first one really standing out to me is compassion. Looking with compassion at the people that work on our team, looking through a lens of compassion to our clients and prospects.
Yeah, and the thing that I would just encourage everybody who's listening and or watching is have the willingness to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Just go there. And you might be scared, you might be nervous, you might even have some fear. But I'm here to share with you, if you go there and incorporate what we've been speaking about with Holly today, you will forever change the course of conversations and how your salespeople look at you.
Absolutely.
You will. You just have to be willing to go there.
Well, I am so excited. Of course, I don't know if you know, if you're listening in, we have the Breakthrough Sales Leaders Retreat in 10 days. It's going to be amazing. October 20th. Change your calendar. Get to Fort Worth, Texas. It's going to be awesome. You can learn more at breakthroughsalesretreat.com. Larry, as we look forward into Q4, I know the lineup of who's coming on this our podcast, and I just have to say it's going to be amazing. So will you do us a favor? Share this with your friends. The more we get the word out about this movement of authenticity in the sales profession, it's just a good thing. So will you share this with your peers, your clients, and let's all work together in this movement of bringing authenticity to the sales profession. Larry, just what an honor to be able to hang out with you and this incredible audience of sales professionals and leaders. Just puts a smile on my face.
No, I do. I look back on this whole journey, and just so y'all know, head on over to YouTube. If you can go to YouTube, go to Selling from the Heart on YouTube, subscribe, forward this around. Daryl and I we work really hard on our hair and makeup, so it's just we want everyone to see it. But setting that aside, 5.5 years ago, we started this podcast, not knowing the journey in front of us. But this has been a journey that's led to the book, that's led to this movement. Daryl, it's an honor to hang out with you as well. It's an honor to hang out with everyone who watches and listens to us. Selling from the Heart is a movement. I'll just ask, will you join our movement?
Ah, beautiful. Well, we got lots of great stuff ahead. Until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep adding real value, lead with compassion, and most of all, sell from the heart.